First things first, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
Good
you
stuff.
just came off stage.
Literally, just dripping.
Great show, absolutely great show.
How did it go?
Amazing.
It was one of my favourite shows I've played for a long time.
Okay.
Same.
I think because we're heavy, quite heavy on this bill really. I think it worked really well. The tent was full and it was wicked.
It seems like a lot of people might not be instantly into heavy music, so it's like underdog vibe again, isn't it? It's just like...
Yeah, it's like we're a bit of an underdog and it's like people were intrigued to see what was going on and we were throwing ourselves around like lunatics, so it was a really cool, energetic show.
Did you have to win them over, like you said?
To be honest, they were
Not
loving
really,
it.
no. That's how cool. That's why it was so cool. It was like they were already into it, wicked.
We really didn't know what to expect. We never really even heard of the festival, to be honest. I've not. It's kind of like a Leeds and Reading of England, I think. Like slightly alternative.
Right.
But we were like, oh, will there be anybody here to watch us, or will there be anyone around? And it was actually one of my favourite shows I've played for a long time. Yeah, like I said.
Yeah, wicked.
And in terms of the performance, you say you were jumping around. How did that go?
Yeah, it was great. We had.
How did the jumping around? Not bad, mate.
We had people singing along and crowd surfing and getting on people's shoulders. The whole show in general was really fun. We had a great time.
And do you prepare differently for these kind of shows than you do club shows?
Not really.
Not really, no. I mean, we've just come back from Warped Tour in America, so that's like 2 months of straight shows. So it's like we don't, especially after that, we don't really need to do much preparing. We've just been practicing gigging anyway. So it's like, but no, from club shows to festivals, not really.
Yeah, the only difference is it's outside. Okay. But like Sean said, we've just been outside for like 47 shows in a row. So we're kind of used to being outside, and especially in the States, we're still trying to win people over out there. So it was kind of a similar vibe to that, but obviously a lot more closed in, a lot more intense, and people seem to have a lot of fun, and we loved it.
And you say you've been on the road for quite a while. Do you notice now that you play songs differently than you did at the first show?
Yeah, well, I think
in terms of live, like...
Yeah.
We're just tighter.
Yeah, we just you generally get better as you go along, because it's just like you get used to it. You don't have to worry about what you're playing, and you just flow into it, I guess. So,
it's just comes second nature to play, and then you learn to play off each other really well, and we're just clicked now. We've just got it down. Obviously the first sort of 4 shows is always a bit oh, what's happening, but then after that you're just in, and it's really cool to be in that click where you kind of know the songs you're gonna play, and you know how it's gonna go down, and you know what wins people over. It's kind of nice to have that feel within the band, and everyone know exactly what's happening at what time, and be all ready for it. It's cool. And
in particular, then with the new songs of the new album, do you notice that some things do work and some things turn out not to work?
I mean, we've played around with the set for a while now, and then we did the Warped Tour set, but we had the mind frame of bringing it a little bit more heavy instead of using all the light songs that we do as well. We brought it back to a heavier set, and that seems to be working a lot better. So we've done that with the new songs as well. We've brought all the heavier ones in and only left a few light ones in, and it seems to, I think it draws people in a little bit quicker, and then once they've got the heavy side, I think they can understand the lighter side easier, because they already like the heavy side, I guess.
It's just keeping that energy going, do you know what I mean?
That's... Yeah, you want to bring them in I
think that's what we do best, is just keep the energy going all the way through the set. So that's what we try and do, just come out. In a way, at a festival like this, it's almost like shocking people into something new. I think a lot of people, when we said, has anyone heard of Whilst She Sleeps before, there was a good few people. But there was also a lot of people that were just no, and I was well, we're making new friends out here then. And it was just really fun, but I think keeping the energy going for us is really important.
Is this something you take into account then whilst writing the songs?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's something that has to, it almost has to come up now, because now we know how it plays off and how it works.
Obviously, when we first released our first couple of albums, a mini album and then a full length, it was kind of it's just a bit of a guesswork. Do you know what I mean? We didn't really know what would go down well. We just wrote for ourselves and what we liked. But now it's we know what our fans in a way expect of us. So we try and still write for ourselves and write what we want to write, but also have it in mind what might go down well live and what people might like to sing along to. And there's obviously a bit of both.
Playing Warped Tour in America, not that many people know us, and then throughout the 2 months of touring, we can see what songs actually just make an impact on people live. You can just feel that they're into it just from playing it, but they've never heard it. You know what I mean? So that does go into our writing account, definitely.
Can you name me one that does really well?
Death Toll is a song that just, I don't know, every single time it kicks off, and if you it just People just lose it every time they have it.
Yeah, we put Death Toll out between our last album and, I know, just after the first EP came out and then before the album.
Yeah.
This is the sixth. So it was like a transition song.
No. Yes. No. Or after? No, we're after 6.
What, into the new one?
It was the one before. Yeah, because we did Believe is that transition song, didn't we?
Okay, yeah. So it was after our full-length
messes
album
up your mind
and between tracks. So it's kind of like sat in the middle of both sort of eras of the band at the moment, if you like, both CDs. So that seems to go down really well. People obviously had a chance to look us up online and figure us out and come and see us live, and that seems to be one. But the new songs as well from the new album Brainwashed that we have out is also seems to be going down really well, and we think that it's progressed. Our writing's progressed, and like we think the patterns and how we've written the songs work really well, and it seems to be showing live. Like people are getting it really quickly and like seem to be coming and singing along. So.
And then you mentioned this transition from This Is the Six to now Brainwashed.
Yeah.
When you listen back to This Is the Six, what do you hear then, and especially now that you've made Brainwashed?
I feel like we feel like Brainwashed is a little more diverse, and because I've had like throat surgery and stuff, so it gave the band more time to like play around with sound and different things like that. So I think it's just a more polished sound, although the instrumental side of things is even raw. It like brings out the raw side as well as like the polished sound.
It's quite typical. It sort of grows up as we grow up, but we sort of know what our sound is now, so that comes with us. But then it's got a mature edge, I guess. But like, I love This Is the Six. I think it's a great album.
I think This Is the Six is almost like slightly more of like a straight up metal record.
Yeah, definitely.
Whereas the new Brainwash goes a little bit more into like punk rock and even into some hardcore pieces as well, and maybe new metal.
Yeah.
It floats around a lot of different genres within sort of alternative, and I think Brainwash is more of like a metal. I think This Is the Six is more of a metal sound.
Were you aware of this whilst making the album, or even before?
This Is the Six?
With Brainwash, were you aware, or was it part
personally, I always take into account what we've all, like, a lot of my inspiration comes generally from our own writing from before.
Okay.
Judging on how well it's done, that's like gives me a drive to do, not songs like it, but like the same sort of vibe, so we can keep our sound going in a way. That's what I like to do, I feel that.
Yeah, and I feel like lyric writing was definitely a more punk sort of anarchy almost edge to our writing, in the way of like making a stamp on stuff and trying to not raise awareness, but yeah, just like make people listen, and like there was a bit more of that punk sort of anti-flag vibe in there.
Do you know what brought this on?
For me personally, with lyric writing, and as well with the band, we had a lot of time, obviously during throat surgery and stuff, where we came from a long sort of run of being out on the road, and also almost like not being like closed off from that, but being in your own little touring bubble and doing shows, into almost coming back. And for me, being sat in front of a TV, like obviously when I had some throat stuff, it was like I couldn't talk for like a couple of weeks, and I had to introduce words slowly back into using my voice. And in that time I was spending a lot of time around the radio and television and stuff, and it was after being so like on the road for so long and then being slammed straight into like a normal sort of situation, it really hit me that a lot of the things that you hear on day to day and like on the television and stuff, it's all like, you need this, you must be like this, this is what your life should be like, 2.4 kids, a widescreen television, you know, all the stuff that gets thrown in. And that to me was very like, whoa, I've not been around this for a little while, like I've just been listening to music as my form of
life is possible without it, but a lot of people don't think it is. I mean,
and at the same time as that, the band, while I was doing that, the band were going into sort of like going into the woods a lot and like writing on acoustic guitars and stuff. So like you were like buzzing and enjoying that. Like.
Yeah, that like it's your own bubble, but then you realise that like there's a little bit more to life than what you see on the TV and stuff. Like people strive to get all that shit, and they think that once they've got it, then that'll be it, and you'll be sorted. Like I used to sort of think that way a little bit, and it's like we're never saying we're better than anyone else, but that little bit of awareness, you realise that money ain't really going to bring you that much happiness. It really isn't. And then the things maybe the things it can buy to some extent, but all the shit that just gets thrown at you through TV, and like you don't need it. And I think that touring bubble that you end up having through a band, you don't have it. I don't watch TV, and we don't listen to that much radio. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
But like obviously there's other things like get pushed towards you. Obviously you never get away from branding and like commercialization.
Yeah, we're not saying it's all bad at all, but I think a lot of it is just
It's just like if you've got Starbucks or an independent coffee shop, go to the independent coffee shop rather than just being like, oh, I know that, I'm going to go there. Just having a bit more of a thoughtful mind about stuff. And as well, like going out into the woods and like in the forest and stuff and camping and like losing phone signal a little bit and just having an acoustic guitar and like having a fire and just jamming with your friends is
being
like
detached a little bit.
Yeah, just detach
being,
yourself.
Like in nature, like nature's like part of us. Like I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but it is, and no one really looks at it that way anymore. Like without the trees, you can't breathe. Do you know what I mean? I think that's important to at least recognise a little bit. Like you don't have to do anything about it, but at least know about it, and then maybe more awareness will spread that without the nature side of things, we won't be able to exist anyway. So.
And I think through like doing a lot of touring and really like hitting it hard with like alcohol and like all the other stuff that goes with that, gave us a chance to step back a little bit and be like, we can't continue doing this as we are because I'll have throat surgery again and we'll all be dead in like a few years or whatever, because we just used to party that hard. But obviously everything in moderation, and for While She Sleeps, we've just learned to be like, if we want to do this for a long time, we have to just pace ourselves.
We used to party like every single fucking night.
Like it had to happen.
Yeah, like not even thinking about should we get fucked, it were every single time. Which is great to an extent. So.
But do you now then, I assume you approach your singing and the way you treat your vocals differently?
Yeah, I mean before I was just rattling my throat around, drinking and smoking and having the best time ever really, but then 2 surgeries down you realise that this is my instrument, and a lot, like especially at a festival like this, I think that maybe a lot of people don't really understand where a lot of the heavy side of music comes from and sort of the passion and unity behind it, and like the best way to show that off well is to sound good. And if I kept like treating myself like I was, in a few years I won't be able to do what I love to do and I won't be able to express myself like that. So for me it was just, I don't know, trying to take a step back a little bit and like just a small realisation that I need to just pace myself a little bit.
And when you, because you say having the time of your life, when you heard that you needed surgery, what went through you, and what was the mindset of the band at that point?
Kind of strange really. I mean at first I don't think there was ever a thing of like, we're not going to bounce back from it. But no, it was a bit of like a, we're going to have a bit of time.
It were a straight up like, let's get this sorted and find out what it is really. It weren't just like, oh, well, what we're going to do about While She Sleeps. Like, not that didn't even come about. It was just like, we need to get it sorted, whatever it is in a way. I mean, from that, I mean, that's took a step back with all of us getting wasted anyway, not because we ain't got throat problems. Right. I mean, you can't be that productive if you're getting fucked all the time. I mean, it's fun for a while. I mean, we got, how many years now? We used to love it, man, it's sweet. But, I mean, but like when it comes to like 12 years getting fucking wasted all the time, you can't continue to be that productive with your music and stuff, I guess, so.
It's when you start the realisation of, so I've just turned this age, and I started drinking when I was probably like 14 or something, when I shouldn't have been, and I probably haven't had a week off alcohol for like...
But without doing all that partying, none of this would have happened, you know what I mean? It's all cause and effect in that way, but just,
But in hindsight then, final question, in hindsight then, not you having the throat surgery, but was having that time to kind of reflect on what you were doing, was it in the end a good thing?
I think it's a positive thing. I mean, I think no one ever stops learning, and I'm still learning myself about it all, and sometimes I go a bit off the rails again and have to wind it back and be like, yep, you're drinking too much, your throat sounds terrible, or like whatever. In the same way as like you wouldn't keep going on stage without restringing your guitar. For me personally, I just need to look after myself a little bit better, and that's the only thing that switched me really. Like, we all love to party, we all love to have a good old drink and a dance or whatever you want to do, but like, it's just a bit small realisation. But this just means that as a band we can progress, grow, and it'll give us longevity in the long run.
Yeah, it gave us that little boost of, like, you don't live forever in a way. I think I never think that, just because you get wasted for so long. Never comes into your head that one day you might die, do you know what I mean? So it's like, big realisation is like, you need to just take it in moderation and stuff.
Yeah, there's some lyrics in the new album that are just like, I don't even know. Like, we're putting ourselves, like, we sleep in recovery and stuff, and it's just like, we're just constantly getting self-destruct. Like, we set ourselves to self-destruct, and it got to the point where we were getting that hammered that often that it was like self-destruct mode. And it was really like, just waking up in pain, do you know what I mean? And like, our bodies were hurting, and we were looking tired.
Weak hangovers and shit, you can't get anything done, it's just like...
So we we
So,
just
so
grew up a
now
little bit.
it feels better then?
No,
Yeah,
now
the
it feels
more
great.
it's-
Like now you can have a couple of beers and it
Once-
actually feels like
Yeah,
I've had
yeah.
a nice few beers now and like
Right.
just everything in moderation for while she sleeps at the moment. But like we just want to be the band that we know we can be really, and having a bit of a step back and a breather time, like a period of time that we've had, has given us time to address the problems that we had as a family. You know what I
See
mean?
that it's been quite a real band journey. We can keep it going. Do you know what I mean? It don't have to stop after a few albums and then we
Right.
just let it go. We can be serious and make some music that lasts. I hope.
I hope so as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
Thank you.
you.